As you design the pages for your website, you'll notice that there are some elements that you put on every page. For example, you put your logo on every page, your business name, and even your navigation system. Your website design and layout is probably the same for most, if not all of your pages as well. However, placing these things on each individual web page can be time-consuming. Can you imagine having to recreate your layout for 10 different pages, or having to place your logo on every page you create time and time again? This can start to become really tedious and become a huge headache. Master pages eliminate the need to place common elements on each page as you design them individually. You can think of a master page as a template. You place common elements on the master page, such as layout, logo, business name, and so forth, and then use the master page to design those individual pages. It saves you a lot of time and work. So let's go back to our plan view for just a minute. At the bottom of the window, you'll see that a master page is already created for you. Double-click on the master page to open it in Design View. Now you can add elements that are common to multiple pages to the master. You can even create multiple masters, as we'll learn to do later in this lesson. So first, let's talk about setting fill color for the content area. We're going to use our master to create the basic layout for our site, since we're going to use the same layout for most of our pages. The first thing we're going to do is learn to add a fill color to the content area, or the white area here on the page. To set a fill color, click on the Color drop-down menu next to Fill in the control bar, and that's what that looks like here. Choose a color from the color swatches available. And we've chosen green. Now let's say we like green but want to change the opacity. Click on the word Fill in the main toolbar to do this, and then change the value in the opacity field. And we've changed ours to 58. And a quick note, you can follow these steps for master pages or other pages. Just double-click on the page in the plan view to go to Design View and then follow these steps again. Now, in addition to the preset swatches that you have available here, you can also click to sample any color you want from this area here. So for example, if we wanted red, we could click there. And you can see the shade of red that we've chosen is displayed up here. If we wanted to add our custom color to our swatches, we would just click here on the Add Swatch button. It gives us a preview here of our color. We can click OK, and then it adds it. Now let's say you want your fill color to match a color in a logo or image you're going to use on your website. To add a color from a logo or image, click on the Fill drop-down menu and select the eyedropper tool. And we'll learn how to import images later in this course, but say you had an image imported here, you could hover your eyedropper on it on any color. And right now we're hovering over our background. You can see the eyedropper displays that color up here. Likewise, if you had an image, it would let you pick a color from that image. And a note again that you can follow these steps for master pages or for other pages. Just double-click on the page in the plan view to go to Design View and then follow the steps again. Now let's learn how to add a border. A border goes along the edge of your canvas and can help your canvas stand out or even pop. To add a border, click on the Stroke drop-down menu in the control bar, and then select the color you want to use for your border. We're going to use blue. Next, click on the text field to the right of the drop-down menu and enter a value. This value represents the width of your border, and we've changed ours to 2. You can see our border appears automatically. Now click on the word stroke in the main toolbar, and you can see that this word is a different color. It's not our normal white. All of these orange-colored words are words that you can click on to see more options. So choose how you want to align the border. You can align it on the inside edge of the canvas, the outside edge of the canvas, or center it on the edge of the canvas. And then lastly, click Make All Stroke Weight Settings the Same. That's this button right here. When you click it, it looks like this. Now, if you'd like, you can enter new values in the boxes. By entering new values, you can make the stroke weight vary for different sides of the canvas. And again, you can follow these steps for master pages or other pages. Just double-click the page in Plan View to go to the Design View and then follow these steps again. Once you've created and applied a border, you can then create rounded corners for those borders to give them a different look or feel, or to make them match the look and feel of your website. Once you've created your border, click on one of the rounded corner buttons as shown in the main toolbar here. So you can see when I click that button, this corner has been rounded. If I want them all rounded, I can click each corner. But you won't be able to set a different radius for each individual corner. And once more, you can follow these steps for master pages or other pages. Just double-click on the page in the plan view to go to design view and then follow these steps again. Now let's talk a bit about special effects. If you've ever used Adobe Photoshop or even Microsoft Word, you might have already played with special effects that you can add to objects and images. One of those effects might have been a drop shadow, which creates an illusion that the object or image is floating above the page. Muse CC offers you 3 effects that you can apply to your pages. You can use drop shadow to make your page look like it's floating above the browser window. You can use a bevel to give it a 3D look. And in addition, you can also use glow. Glow is a lot like drop shadow, however, glow works best with dark backgrounds. So first, let's go over adding a drop shadow. Click on the word effects in the control bar, and then click on the shadow button. Click on the check mark in the box beside shadow, and then adjust the settings as you want. You'll then see the shadow applied to the page. If you want to add a bevel, click on the bevel button, and then click to put a check mark beside bevel. Just as with the drop shadow, adjust the settings as you want, and then the bevel is applied. And then finally, click the glow button. Click to put a check mark beside glow, and once more you can adjust your settings. And you can see the glow has been applied to our page. Now the page, also known as the canvas, only takes up part of your browser window. The rest of your browser window will either be plain white or another color. This color is called the background fill color. You can also select an image to be the background fill. However, the image must be in either a GIF, JPEG, or PNG format. First, let's talk about adding a solid background fill color. Click on the Browser Fill drop-down menu, and then select the color that you want. You can see the fill is then applied. We've changed ours to brown. To add a background image instead of a background color, click on the word Browser Fill in the main toolbar, and next to Image, click on Add Image. Locate the image you want to use on your computer, click on it, and then click Open. You'll then see the image appear in your background. However, it may not be positioned as you want it or the way that it looks the best. To fix this, click on the Browser Fill again, and then click on the Fitting drop-down menu. The menu will allow us to adjust the tiling. A tile is a background, pattern, or design that covers the entire web page. In this instance, the pattern is the image that we've selected. If you want to turn off tiling, click on Original Size. Choose Tile to tile in both directions, or tile horizontally, or tile vertically, and you can also choose Scale to Fit. When you choose this, Muse scales your image so it fits on the page. If you choose Scale to Fill, Muse scales your image so it fills the background of the page. Your image might become distorted if you choose this. You can also reposition the background image. To do this, click the word Browser Fill, and then go to Positioning. So you have these different dots here. You can click to choose the positioning of your image. You can choose to position your image at the top left, top center, top right, middle left, middle center, middle right, or bottom left, bottom center, bottom right. Now let's talk about adding headers to master pages. The header of your site appears between the 2 blue guidelines in the design view. The top guideline is the top of the page guide, and the line beneath it is your header guide. You can drag this line up or down on the page using the blue arrow on the left to either extend or decrease the width of your header. Your site header typically appears on every page of your website, which is why you add it to your master page. It includes your site's logo, your company name, and even your navigation if you choose. For now, let's learn to place a logo in the header area of your site. Go to File, Place. Find your logo in the location where it's stored on your computer. Remember, the file must be a JPEG, GIF, or PNG formatted image. Click on it and click Open. You'll now see a place gun attached to your mouse cursor with a miniature version of your logo. Click the location of the page where you want to place your logo. Now adjust the header guide if necessary. You can also resize your logo, and we'll learn to resize graphics later in this course. Now in the main toolbar, click on Preview. You can see your logo in your web page. Now let's talk about adding footers to master pages. Footers go at the bottom of your web pages. Since they typically go at the bottom of every one of your pages, you would place a footer on the master page. Footers include legal and copyright notices, but can also include bottom navigation and other information. To place a footer on your master page, click on the rectangle tool in the main toolbar, and that looks like this. Now drag to draw a rectangle at the bottom of your page. Once again, if you need to, you can then adjust the guides. The top guide is the footer guide. You can drag it up or down to extend or decrease the size of the footer. The next guide is the bottom of the page guide, which we'll learn about later. And finally, the bottom guide is the bottom of browser guide. Now if you look here at the footer that we drew, you can see it has handles around it, one on each corner and one on each side. We can resize the rectangle by clicking on the Select tool in the main toolbar, and this is the Select tool. Next, click on any of the handles to resize the rectangle. You can also add a fill and stroke color as well as effects to the rectangle if you want by selecting the footer with the Selection tool, and then selecting a fill color from the control bar. Now let's talk about flexible width footers. The footer that we drew here was a fixed width footer. In other words, the dimensions of the footer are fixed and do not change no matter what. However, you can also create a flexible width footer that will expand or decrease in width depending on the size of the screen the visitor is using. To create a flexible width footer, click on the Selection tool, and then drag on the left side handle until you see a red line appear, as shown here. You'd follow the same step for the right side of the footer. Now, as we said earlier in this lesson, you can create as many master pages as you want. If you have different page layouts for different groups of pages on your site, creating multiple master pages can save you a lot of time. To create a new master page, go to your plan view and mouse over the master page. If you click on the plus sign to the right of the master page, a new master page is created. Once you've created your master pages, you'll want to assign pages in your website to the individual masters. To do this, right-click on a page in Plan View, and then click Masters. Select the master that you want to assign the page to. You can see it's assigned it to our other master page.